we've created this little backdrop, this kind of a ghost of Mike Mentzer. And for those who don't know him, he barked when he spoke. He was a real iconoclast. He carried this bitterness for never having become Mr. Olympia.
I think Mike was too rigid in his thoughts. You got to be a little bit flexible.
That flexibility.
Yes, mostly he was right, but maybe for this guy, you got to be a little bit flexible. And I think it was a bit too extreme in the end, like training once every 10 or 12 days and so on.
And he became unhealthy, right? He smoked. He was open about
I didn't understand.
Yeah. Amphetamine use.
I still don't understand it. I still don't understand. I understand ex-bodybuilders or athletes that don't want to maintain their peak. Of course, it's ridiculous. You can't as you get older. But I didn't understand somebody that was in health, fitness, bodybuilding that suddenly didn't want to exercise and got overweight and smoked cigarettes and so on. I didn't really understand that. That was one thing I didn't get with Mike. He was very pissed off about the Mr. Olympia that Arnold won in 1980 and got disillusioned with the sport, and he carried it around with him. I mean, it was one of the first conversations we had, like when we first met. He told me Arnold is not going to like me, and I said, well, not that I really care, but why do you think that? And he's like, because you're better than him. Well, it's debatable, but let's say if I was, why would Arnold give a fuck? He was just making movies, 20 mil a movie. I wouldn't give a shit if I was him. He's like, you don't understand Arnold. So, he was carrying this still around with him, which, it wasn't healthy, I guess.
I don't know, and I'm not a psychologist, but I'm going to venture that he wanted to be a winner, or the winner, more than he probably loved the fitness piece and the training piece. Yeah. And I say that because, it sounds like I'm name dropping here, but I'm fortunate to be very good friends with the great Rick Rubin, right? And Rick has worked with so many amazing artists, and he'll tell me stories sometimes about people who really didn't make music or do comedy because they loved music and comedy. Yeah. They wanted to be loved.
Okay.
When they got maybe attacked about a song not being as good as their last song, it crushed them. And he would say, just go back and make music.
Yeah, do what you want.
And this is one of the things that makes Rick so brilliant. But then he would share these stories in private, of course, that some people aren't doing the thing for the thing. It's about they weren't loved as a kid, or they need the adoration. Yeah.